What's up, everyone? So today I actually ended up catching a super solid trade on NASDAQ. It ended up giving me a 1 to 2, which I knew the trade was going to go a 1 to 3, 1 to 4, but I ended up getting out at a 1 to 2 because that is all I needed to pass this other challenge account. But in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the setup, show you guys my entry, exit, all that type of stuff, and how I found this trade. All right, first things first, we're going to look at this on the M1 time frame. You can see this is that candle I entered on. And I got my entry right where this is between that red and green. You can see it was right about 21,584 is where we got our entry. And you can see right around there, it literally just started getting that rejection we were looking for, went all the way down, and I'm going to break that down on the higher time frames and show you how I found my entry. All right, we're going to make this a little bigger just to make it nicer. And then you can see right here, this line says H1 and M15. So starting on the M15 time frame, all I did was go over here, find that previous contrary candle to the push down, which you can see this blue candle right here is that previous contrary candle to a push down. So we went ahead and marked the bottom of that on the M15 time frame. And then we have an H1. Let's go over to the H1. And you can see this H1 time frame right here, this blue candle. That is the previous candle to the downwards move, right? That's that previous contrary candle. So this lined up perfectly with our M15. So now we have two time frames in confluence. And if you guys know my strategy, the more time frames in confluence, the better. We did enter a little aggressive on this one, but that is totally fine. I handled the risk. I managed my risk, everything like that. So you can see this M1 up here, and you can see we got a super solid rejection off of it. Let's just go right down to here, and you can see this went to that M1 after we went to take profit. You can see I had a TP1, and this was my final take profit right here for a TP2, but you can see it went all the way down past a 1 to 4, and I knew it was going to go a 1 to 3, 1 to 4. I actually posted on Instagram. I'll post a story right here.
That shit ain't gonna save them, leave them on the pavement. All I know is get this motherfucking paper. That shit
Like I said, I just needed a 1 to 2 to pass the challenge account. So I'm going to go ahead and put this back at a 1 to 2. And notice the accuracy of the entry right there. So we knew we had two time frames in confluence. Now looking at this on the M5 time frame, you can see this candle went right up into it, and we had a solid rejection off of it, which was good confirmation that we were going to end up going bearish right there. On the M5, it looked super solid. Now look at this on the M15 time frame. We tapped into it, and this candle completely flipped, and we went all the way down to here. That was showing an excellent rejection, which is exactly what we needed in that situation since we were looking at sells. Now, we did not bounce off this M1 just out of pure randomness. This was exactly what I was expecting to happen if we broke past this and went to stop loss. Now, I knew the risk of it. Normally, I would like to have that M1 and M5 or just one other time frame at least within my stop loss, so like here. But we were entering this pretty aggressive, so I knew the risk for it. But look how we bounced off that M1 perfectly. Like, we did not go any higher than that. It respected that level to the T. Follow this over. And what do we look for? We look for that previous contrary candle to the move down, and then we mark the bottom of it. You can see we marked the bottom of it, and it literally respected it perfectly. It bounced right off of that. That is why it's important to have multiple time frames in confluence, because with this, I entered aggressive, but normally I'd have my stop loss, let's say, up here, right? Or I would have entered a little later, so my stop loss would have been above this level. And you can see, since we would have had this other time frame in confluence within our stop loss, we would have got a bounce off this level and then would have went all the way down here, would have been past a TP4. It would have been a crazy good trade. So you can see that is the importance of having multiple time frames in confluence. It doesn't bounce off these levels out of pure randomness. This is all levels that most of the time get respected. Now this M15 and M5 I have marked down here was not out of just pure randomness as well. This was definitely calculated, and I want to show you how accurate this was. You can see we have a previous contrary candle to an upwards move right here, and I went ahead and marked that M15 since we're on the M15 time frame. You go ahead and you mark the top of the wick, the body, whatever the highest point of that candle is. You can see we came, wicked into it, then had that upwards move. And look at this, we went ahead, did that same thing again, almost tapped right into that M15, and then we got that upwards move again as well. Same thing as this M5. Let's go down to the M5. You can see we marked the top of this previous contrary candle to the move. We came, wicked right into that level. Then we started continuing the upwards momentum, and then we came back down, tapped right into that M15 level, and then continued the upwards move. So you can see these levels are being respected perfectly. That is the key to supply and demand. You literally just want to look for the previous contrary candle, mark it. The more time frames in confluence, the higher probability the setup's going to be. For example, here's another one I'm just going to show you right here. So you can see we have a previous contrary candle right here to that upwards move. So what we would do is we'd go ahead, mark this with an M5 because we are on the M5 time frame. We're going to follow it over literally right to here. And you can see we came all the way down. We tapped right into that level. Let's go ahead and just put this. You can see we tapped right into that level, and then we got an upwards move. Came back down, tapped into it again, got an upwards move as well. M15 would have been right here, which would have been fine. You probably wouldn't have hit stop loss depending where your stop loss was. And then you also have like an M1 right here. I'll just go ahead and show you. Just say you are scalping this setup, you can mark this M1, follow that over. You would have got your entry right here, and you could see from this candle right here, you would have tapped into it, you would have started taking longs right here, and it would have taken you all the way up to here, and you would have had a TP1, TP2, whatever hit, depending on your risk to reward. So you can see these levels do get respected. They're super solid, and if you guys haven't learned about supply and demand yet, watch my other videos, and I do go more in depth about the strategy I use. And that was a setup we took today. You can see how simple that was. It was literally just sells off a supply level from the H1 and M15, and that ended up giving us a 1-2 personally, but we could have held to a 1-4, and honestly even more if we would have had that M1 within our stop loss. But like I said, I was just looking to catch a TP2 just to pass that prop firm challenge. If you guys have any questions, make sure you leave them down in the comments below. If you like the video, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to reach out to me, make sure you DM me on Instagram at OAlexZ. The link will also be in the bio.